This company made 300 crores last year by selling clothes for the new generation. Anand Tantar, founder of the Indian Garage company, started off as an offline denim company in 2012. Indian Garage entered the D2C online fashion market, capitalizing on the power of digitization.
All of these e-commerce websites which came in, and there is where the change happened.
And what about design and keeping up with the trends?
And then there are various tools that are available in the market. Those tools are all machine learning based, where they are also picking up trends from across the world. So that's a lot of data analysis that also goes through, even though it's a very creative job.
The founder gave us a factory tour,
This was our first unit. In a factory like this, can do close to 1200 garments a day.
a sneak peek into their massive warehouse,
It's a very modern warehouse. A million units, she's able to find what she exactly wants to pick. So that's how beautifully the system works.
And
helped us understand how the business of fast fashion really works.
We are currently storing close to 1 million units here in this warehouse. We are capable of picking, packing and inverting 25,000 pieces per day.
So how do you deal with the dead stock?
Hey, hi guys, this is Anand Tated, founder of the Indian Garage company. Let me give you a sneak peek into how your favorite garments are being manufactured and how the entire story about Indian Garage began. The Indian Garage story really began in 2010. So we started as more of a offline distribution denim brand. We had to literally make samples first, go and present it to retailers. If they don't like a certain sample, they would not select it. They would select only a few samples out of the large bag that we used to carry door to door. All of that was a very challenging process. We certainly wanted to go a step ahead and say, okay, what we are creating for the Indian consumer can also go global. D2C enabled that for us. All of these e-commerce websites which came in, they did not have selection process, and there is where the change happened. We started with these 12 machines. Today, in and around Bangalore, we run close to 40 units. These are all dedicated capacities, and because they are dedicated capacities, we are able to maintain our supply chain. What we really went on to do is get a contractor in place for running these 12 machines. We scaled that contractor to about 50. Today, that same contractor runs about 100 machines. It's actually now kind of become his business. We basically told him that, you should sit in your unit. All you worry about is production. Reach a scale where the input cost to the garment is at the minimum, and therefore that will help us evolve as a D2C brand, something which is directly manufactured from the brand and going to the consumer without middlemen. And therefore, this was very, very important. So we were doing close to, I think initially 100 orders a day. Today we ship close to 25,000 orders a day. That's the scale we operate at today. We have got 3 brands. One is Indian Garage. It's got everything within its umbrella: casual, formal, street. Similar to Indian Garage, we have a brand for women's wear, which is again women's athleisure, women's casual, women's resort, women's formal, that nests under the brand Freehand. And we've just launched a brand for plus size, where we have got 3XL to 6XL, where we are not saying we'll give you boring clothes, because it doesn't matter what size you are, but everybody is entitled to the same fashion.
so, sir, could you tell us about the space where we are in right now?
So this is basically the design floor. This is where we make and design all our products.
What are the KPIs that you actually keep a track of?
We go by the theory of market share. We look at what market share of the marketplaces do we hold. Also, from the point of view of designs, we look at sell-through. How soon are we able to sell our, designs? And obviously, the most important is profit. So I think these are the 3 KPIs.
And how exactly are the products designed? Like, how do you identify the consumer needs?
It's not entirely creative. It's very data-oriented. There's a entire design team, and then there are various tools that are available in the market, which basically give you a brief on what the consumers are picking up. Those tools are all machine learning based, where they are also picking up trends from across the world. So that's a lot of data analysis that also goes through. So I think it's a mix of all. This is where we store the raw materials. Apparel in particular have a lot of raw materials. There are buttons, there is interlining, there is thread, there is packing material. This is where we store it. So once the fabric basically comes in, there is a security entry that happens. It gets inverted to a system, then it gets checked. If it doesn't pass, then it is packed again and it is shipped back to the vendor. So this is, the fabric getting checked for defects right now. So basically for every 100 meters, beyond 30 flags is what we consider not appropriate. And there are a lot of checking standards also, like there can be foreign yarn, there can be cut issue, there can be shade variation issue. On that basis, it is graded. Then it is also checked for shrinkage, it is also checked for color fastness, it is also checked for spirality. So now I'll give you a sneak peek into how your favorite garments are made. So first is obviously the textile. You got to design your textile, you got to select your fabrics. The process that you are seeing right now is a lay length. Now a garment has a lot of parts. So all of those parts are basically cut separately. For all of those single parts, there is a pattern that is made. How do you arrange those patterns together is a software, which is the CAT software, which does that. So this is how our entire docket looks like. This gets issued from our merchandising team. So this mini marker basically tells the cutting master how he can adjust all of these patterns in the closest manner to avoid wastage. Your collar and your cuff has certain amount of stiffness. That is because there is a fusing which is involved. So this is the fusing machine. They are fused and then they are numbered. And why they are numbered is because one number has to match with the other number to make the same garment. Then we move on to bundling. And this bundling then gets loaded to the batch where I am taking you next. This is the backloading. Now there are helpers who will then pick up individual bundles, and every single part, like you can see here, will be given to a different tailor. So you have your cuff which is being produced, you have your sleeve that is being produced. Once your parts are ready, then you go into the final assembly section where all of these parts are joined together to then make a shirt out of it. A regular casual shirt in a factory like this, per machine we can go as high as 14 to 16 garments. 100 machine back, then you can do close to 1200 garments a day. Alright guys, now we've reached the warehouse. This warehouse is designed for handling e-commerce orders. I'll take you through the entire process. This is where the gate entry happens basically. Once you receive the material from the invert bay, this will come here. The entire process of how you receive the inventory, then how you put it away to the racks, it's all a part of the WMS OMS. We use Incref as our WMS OMS. We move on to the QC. You can look at the quality standards that we mentioned here. One level of QC at the factory and another level of QC at the warehouse. After the finishing happens at the factory, then an independent auditor will go and audit the quality. He will give a pass report. After the gate entry is when the QC will happen. If it fails, then it goes back to the vendor for refinishing. If it is a pass, then the QA manager here at the warehouse will give it to the invert team to start processing the invert, where they start scanning the products. So the products are basically barcoded. So I'll just guide you through that process. Here is the internal identification number. Now this internal identification number will get scanned into the system and we will be able to invert these stocks. And then once the invert is completed, it is sent to the put away. A set of put away team will identify which stock has to be put where, which is guided by the system. So if you see the warehouse right now, it's got these aisle numbers, right? G09 के बाद में हर रैक के ऊपर भी एक आइडेंटिफिकेशन नंबर है. There's a handheld scanner that we have. वो स्कैनर पे the picker will get that order and that order will display where exactly you have to go, which aisle, its row number, and then which shelf. So now she's identified where she has to go. So she's scanning that she's reached the location. Now after she scans, she will know what exact pieces to pick. A million units, she's able to find what she exactly wants to pick. She'll put it in a bin and she'll give it to the outward station. So that's how beautifully the system works. It's a very modern warehouse. It's built for picking 25,000 units a day. So in total, this warehouse has got about 180 people. This is a multi-tier warehouse. So once you pick from the first floor, you don't have to keep coming down. You can use the shaft here and you can keep pushing the pieces down. These are the outward stations. If you can see, they're packing currently. These are all picked. Now they're all being built. So then she will print an invoice. She will put an invoice like this on the parcel and this will be then sent to the dispatch area. Now this is a return station. If you notice these cameras here, they are basically focused on the station so that we are able to exactly identify if there is a problem after opening the parcel. Once this is done, these pieces are then sent to the refinishing area there. Then they are repacked and then they are put away again. That inventory then basically gets pulled into all of these marketplaces and it becomes a part of the open inventory. Anybody can place orders. So we are prima facie a marketplace player. 80% of our revenue comes from marketplaces, roughly 10% from offline. And now we've just started scaling our own D2C portal, which is TIGC.in. That should be about 5% of our revenue currently, but we aim to get it up to at least 30% of the revenue.
Out of that 80% which you sell online, what is the rate of return?
Average, if you take it, 15% couriers don't get delivered and another 8 to 10% is what we get back from the consumer. Orders that get delivered and come back from the consumer are roughly about 8%, but maybe on marketplaces it can go as high as 12-15% also.
In terms of quantity, how huge is this place?
So as I told you earlier, this is 60,000 square feet floor plate, out of which 50% is the racking area. It's in 3 floors. So if you look at those smaller bins, there are 56,000 of those bins. One bin capacity is roughly 35 to 40 units. We are currently storing close to 1 million units here in this warehouse. We are capable of picking, packing and inverting 25,000 pieces per day.
Which is the product or which are the top 3 products that are the most stocked over here?
Predominantly 45% of our business comes from shirts. So the stock mix is also going to be inclined towards shirts. 15% or 20% of our revenue is currently coming from denims and about 10% from chinos and cargos. The share of t-shirts will increase now. They'll go up to 10-15% because it's summer. When it is winter, the share of winter wear will go higher, roughly about 15%. But the inventory mix today, if you look at it, I think shirts, denims and trousers, the three products would be highest in inventory.
हमने आपका फैक्ट्री देखा, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग प्रोसेस, वेयरहाउस वगैरह सब देखा. आपने इसको बनाने में कम से कम 15 साल लगाए. तो आपने उस टाइम पे फंड कैसे रेज करे?
I went to a factory. उनसे पूछने के बाद में he told me about CGTMSE scheme. सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की स्कीम है जिसमें फर्स्ट टाइम एंटरप्रेन्योर्स और यंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स को विदाउट कोलैटरल फंड प्रोवाइड करता है. यू नो, वेंट टू द बैंक मैनेजर. आई टोल्ड हिम कि यार ये CGTMSE स्कीम में पैसा चाहिए. बैंक मैनेजर आल्सो लाइक तुमको कहाँ से पता चला, बिकॉज दे आर नॉट वेरी कंफर्टेबल इन फंडिंग दोज डेज बिकॉज बैंक के पास में गारंटी नहीं है. तो पैसा डूबता है तो कुछ पैसा सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट का डूबता है और कुछ पैसा बैंक का डूबता है. सो नोबडी टॉक्स अबाउट दैट स्कीम रियली, बट थैंकफुली समबडी टोल्ड मी अबाउट इट एंड दैट्स हाउ आई स्टार्टेड विद 20 लाख. एक कंटिन्यूअसली पैसा रेज नहीं किया, कंटिन्यूअसली पैसा रोटेट किया. पता था कि मैन्युफैक्चरिंग में लीड टाइम ज्यादा है. सो व्हाट वी स्टार्टेड ट्रेडिंग, वेयर वी वुड बाय अदर ब्रांड्स ऑन क्रेडिट एंड सेल देम टू रिटेलर्स. तो पीछे हमें ब्रांड को ट्रेडिंग का जो पैसा देना होता था उसमें से कुछ पोर्शन हम थोड़ा डिले करके हमारे वर्किंग कैपिटल में यूज करके उसको घुमा लेते थे. और CGTMSE हर साल मैं बैंक के पास में जाता था और बोलता था कि भाई यू नो वी परफॉर्म्ड वेल. तो वो उसको देखते हुए हर साल बैंक भी कुछ 10-20 लाख बढ़ा देता था.
So like as you have also raised funding from Aditya Birla's group, so the amount that you have got, how have you decided to distribute it into all of these categories?
Whatever money we've got, how we have provisioned is what are the growth levers of the business. Basis those growth levers, we decide a certain plan. For this year, we are very, very clear that the growth lever is Freehand, which is our women's wear brand. That is a part of a larger business plan exercise. उसके ऊपर वो सारा plan बनता है और उसके ऊपर फिर allocation जाता है.
I would like to know your marketing budget along with how are you guys going on with marketing?
Our marketing is mostly online. There is a certain amount of performance marketing that we do. On the marketplaces, we run a lot of ads. As you already know, Surya Kumar is our brand ambassador. So there's a certain percentage that goes into brand marketing.
And what is the total revenue?
So last year, we logged the revenue of close to 320 crores. That's a GMV of about upwards of 400 crores.
So how do you deal with the dead stock?
One is technology obviously is playing a very, very great role. Second, the affordability factor for our brand. Third, mastering the smaller runs. All of these three factors combined together, we've been able to minimize the impact of any stocks being left over.
So I'm a co-founder of Untangle, which is a fashion brand. So one of the problems we faced were positioning. So I would like to know how you positioned yourself initially and how is it different from you positioning it right now?
There's no positioning difference. We've always been a affordable fast fashion. The ethos of the brand still remains the same. We were born as a product company. We still are a product company. We're in the process of creating numerous brands now. I have never said my brand is a streetwear brand, my brand is a casual wear brand. We are a consumer brand, right? We provide to the consumer what he's looking for. So that's the positioning. What you have to do is go closer to the market. Consumer को क्या चाहिए? If I'm getting that response there, then you go deeper. गैप को एड्रेस करोगे, माल जल्दी बिकेगा, आपका फंड रोटेट फास्टर होगा. फंड रोटेट फास्टर होगा तो वर्किंग कैपिटल की रिक्वायरमेंट छोटी होती जाएगी. मेक श्योर दैट यू आर मेकिंग मनी इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू मेक मोर मनी एंड देन कीप री इन्वेस्टिंग.
So if I want to scale my brand Untangle, should I just create a particular line of products or should I expand my line of products?
Like if you have finite resources currently, then you will want to go deeper on a certain line of product. Today you can get an API from Amazon and understand कि भाई कौन सा Google keyword trend कर रहा है. The minute it starts trending, सबके पास में वो माल नहीं होता है. Like you said crochet. तो क्रोशे की सप्लाई बहुत लिमिटेड आ रही है बट सेल थ्रू बहुत हायर है. मेक योरसेल्फ सक्सेसफुल विद वन गैप and then start working parallelly on multiple gaps.
So thank you so much, sir.
It was amazing talking to you.